Dear viewers, some people speak loudly about themselves, others let their values speak for them. Sharif al-Khamis chose not to tell her own story, but to tell the story of something she believes is bigger. A space that brought women together, lifted their voices, and gave them a room to dream. The Women's Cultural and Social Society. In this episode, we will return to the roots, to where it all began. We will talk about the first steps, the obstacles, and the early believers. And we will pause to remember one of the society's most devoted pioneers, Fahad al-Sdirawi, a woman who carried her community with quiet strength and endless heart. Not now, but right after this short break, so stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. After this short break, we are honored to have with us Sharif al-Khamis. Welcome to the picture.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me today.
So let's jump into business.
Sure, let's go ahead.
So you are a member in the Women's Cultural and Social Society.
Yes.
Tell me about the beginning, the challenges, and how did it become a very strong entity now in Kuwait and active one?
Actually, it started in 1963 with a group of the first female Kuwaiti graduates who studied in Cairo, UK, Lebanon. They came with a dream because they realized that they could not serve their country until they can actually provide some sort of an entity that actually enables them to serve society. Mm-hmm. So we have 14 young female graduates who are very excited with the dream to serve their country. Therefore, they decided to form the Women's Cultural and Social Society. Mm-hmm. The first one of the few or the main goals that they wanted to do first is to empower women to serve their country, to promote the education of women, which is one of the first things that they started as the literacy campaign. Mm-hmm. They started having women who are actually illiterate and to enable and to teach them how to read and to write. Yes. They reached more than 400 to 300 women with their children, and they actually made a nursery so women would be able to have their children in the nursery. At the same time, they're able to learn.
Yes, that's impressive.
All for
actually.
free.
Yeah.
Zero cost, and it was all volunteering. So this was one of the first things. And one of the main interesting things that they did was actually the cleaning campaign. So you had ladies like Ms. Lulu al-Qatami spreading around Kuwait, talking about the importance of cleaning, hygiene. She even brought the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts to have different cleaning campaigns across the street. And she would have banners all over Kuwait city saying, cleaning is part of faith.
Yes.
Which was very interesting at that time.
Yes.
Because it actually shows you that Kuwait is one of the prominent countries that started the awareness of the environment and the importance to have a clean place.
Yes.
The overall health of the human being. Mm-hmm. And they focused on many cases as well. For example, they went to the first International Women's Day in 1974 in Mexico. Yeah. They were part of that women delegation as well. They were also the ladies who brought
Kulthum.
Wow. To Kuwait in 1968.
So they were extremely active back then. Yeah. So back then, it was, let's say, it was the beginning of Kuwait.
Yes.
A women's society. There were challenges, obstacles, especially in a very conservative society.
Yes.
Can you please mention, as Lulu al-Qatami, Lady Lulu al-Qatami and other ladies, the founders?
Yes.
What did they face back then?
Oh, they faced so many challenges because many of them studied abroad. And when you study abroad, you learn so many new skills and multiple, let's say, abilities and talents that you want to see in your country.
Yes.
So not everyone was actually understanding. Mm-hmm. I mean, many of them were asking, why are you roaming the streets? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how to call it in that sense. People were... they did not know exactly what was going on.
Yes.
But at the same time, their spirit encouraged others to actually bring them in. For example, the women's rights. They wanted to have women's rights in Kuwait. For example, the political rights. But how come do you want political rights, but you do not have a Kuwait university? And women are not well educated, and the percentage of illiteracy is very high. So you need to take gradual steps to go into that goal.
To achieve the ultimate goal.
Exactly, which is women empowerment. But how come you want to achieve women empowerment without having a well-knowledgeable society. So
Yes.
without empowering and educating the other half, you won't be able to prosper as a country.
Well, Sharifa, I would like to talk more about the pioneers or the founding mothers and ladies of women's cultural society. We're going to keep talking, but right after this short break, so stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. We're again with Sheikh Al-Khamis.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to talk about one of the most famous and pioneers of women's cultural and social society, Hassa Fahad al-Istirawi.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard a lot about her.
Yes.
So I want to hear, and the audience would like to hear from you about Lady Hassa.
Miss Hissa al-Istirawi, Allah yarhamha, ya Rab. She passed away, I think, more than 14 or 15 years ago. But she's the kind of person you would always hear about from other person. I never met her in real life, even though there's some sort of a family connection between us. But the more I know about her, the more I fall in love with her legacy and her giving. She actually joined the Women's Cultural and Social Society in the mid-60s or early 60s. She served for 5 consecutive board councils from 1967 to 1976. She was the kind of person who believed in philanthropy, activism. She believed in the role of philanthropy in serving society, which is, for example, her main passion is embroidery and sewing. So she was one of the first that actually established a sewing workshop and embroidery within the Women's Culture and Social Society. And she would encourage other female members to actually join the embroidery and to create some sort of the warrior's bag that was actually delivered to Syria in 1973. It was actually called Sallat al-Kis al-Muharib.
Wow.
To actually support
soldiers and fighters against the
Yes.
Israeli occupation. So they were,
Exactly.
she was more than a philanthropist, she was a fighter. But
Exactly, she was
beyond-
fighting in her own way.
Yeah.
At the same time, she helped organize a lot of charity events, such as Tabak al-Khair, aka the charity
Plate or
plate,
cuisine.
I suppose, exactly,
Yeah.
which is a very basic idea of each person would bring a dish from their own house, and they would sell it in a form of a carnival or a social setting.
Yeah.
A very famous one that was actually established in 1977 with Usrati magazine, aka Ghanim al-Marzouk, Allah yarhamha, Lul wal-Qatami as well, and Hassa al-Istirawi was one of the main, let's say, dynamos that actually helped organize the main event.
Wow.
So she is the type of person that believed in the grassroots activism. She loved everyone, regardless of their background. She was always part in any idea that helped families that are in needs. So she has the philanthropic side. She loves Kulthum and Fairuz. So anyone who would actually leave her place, he would get some sort of a CD or a cassette that has Kulthum in it.
Wow.
What can I say about her? She's the kind of person that you would never forget because she was always a believer in children. She always helped the children who are in need to pursue their education, the families in needs as well. Philanthropy was a major part in her life. Also, the participation in any international events. I mean, one of the historical things that we could mention as well, she was part of the first Kuwaiti women delegation that actually went to China in 1981.
Wow.
And she spoke about Kuwait and she introduced the Chinese community at that time and what do women do in Kuwait? How are we serving society? What type of methods and tools we can use to actually serve our country?
So she was like the ambassador of Kuwaiti women.
Yes.
She introduced the Kuwaiti women, the
Yes.
modern Kuwaiti women to the world.
Exactly. She is the type of person I would encourage every young female to look up to.
Wow, she is an idol.
Exactly, because she represents the old values and the good old values that we all should stick to in Kuwait. At the same time, she is someone I wish I had met earlier in my life, but we have a book about her in the Women's Culture and Social Society, and I'm actually glad to revive her memory today in this episode.
As well as I am also glad to hear about her, especially her achievements in representing Kuwaiti women and
her
what she
leadership
did, her
role as well.
legacy. She left behind her a legacy
Yes.
that lived beyond or even after her. Well, Sharifa, I would like to keep talking about other ladies
Of course.
and figures, but unfortunately we ran out of time. So thank you very much for joining
You're
us in
welcome.
the picture, and hope to see you again. And
Definitely.
other pioneer ladies here in Kuwait.
Of course. Thank you
So,
very much.
welcome. So, the audience, thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.